Previously on Deathwatch.
The Lord Governor is withholding a large portion of the planetary defense forces.
You glance up, and you see a familiar sight.
No.
Genestealers. The genestealer roars in triumph as they believe they have caught the best of you, only for that roar to be cut off completely. The genestealer threat that I was worried about has been reduced quite severely, but you are definitely in control of this situation.
Yes.
Oh, finally I actually get to hurt one of you guys. Your arm is torn off. Your entire arm just goes a-flying.
Mother Emperor!
The creature rears back to snarl at you, clearly feeling superior about this entire situation, and you just take the opportunity to lop off its head, which goes sailing through the sky. As you run through, a woman just clings to your arm, like, "Save us, please, in the name of the Emperor!" She just cries out, and you see that her legs have been cut off.
I say, I will show you the Emperor's mercy, and I cleave her head.
When you round the corner, you see that the Lord Governor is standing with his back against the door, and two of his 5-man retinue are down on the ground, dead. The genestealer is just turned into a fine gray mist. Congratulations, you killed the genestealers.
Great.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Swede Rollers, Deathwatch edition.
You seem sad, Chris.
No, I'm not sad. Yeah, I'm Chris. With me we have...
I'm Toby.
I'm Johan.
And I'm Frederick, and I saved the useless librarian.
And I'm Martin.
Martin didn't get to do much in the previous episode because the fight that I thought would take 20 minutes took roughly 50 minutes. In a good way, though. You never know what's going to happen.
I lost my arm. How... Okay, yeah, I agree. It was in a good way,
You
though.
did it for the Vine. Wait, Vine isn't even around anymore.
Nope.
So, in case you're joining us for the first time, first of all, go listen to the first couple of episodes, you fool. Second of all, Toby, you're playing who?
I'm playing Brother Angus from the Storm Wardens.
Yes.
Currently living Manius and Brother Aleberos. Let's see how that goes.
And Frederick?
And I'm Brother Aleberos of the Crimson Fist.
Deathwatch.
Deathwatch. You're all three Deathwatch, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, he's still Crimson Fist.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but we're currently
You're
Deathwatch.
not, though, however, because the shoulder pad that had your Ultramarine symbol on it, it's lying on the arm. That's
I don't think I'm expelled from the chapter for that.
Yes, that's in the bylaws. Haven't you read them?
Goddamn Ultramarines, but oh, never drop your armor, then you're expelled.
But incidentally, we actually looked up the critical hit table in between episodes, and lo and behold, the arm was supposed to fly off.
Yeah, I took 4 D10 crit rolls. The first 3 did nothing, basically like temporary effects, wounding my arm. And I rolled an 8, which is the arm flies off.
Yeah.
Which is hilarious, because that's what happened.
Good times. So you didn't die.
Yes.
It's important to point this out. You didn't actually die.
I have to fail a toughness check.
Okay, let's roll a toughness check.
He hasn't died yet.
No.
I'm gonna, like...
But that's why the crit tables are so good, because you don't die just because you...
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah.
I got a low toughness. I had a chance to increase it, but I thought, like, I'm gonna wear power armor.
What's your toughness?
39.
Oh, God.
Wait, what?
No, don't roll this, please.
39, and you double it, so you have...
I double it for roll?
Yeah, because you have a natural toughness.
Yes. Oh,
Oh,
God, thank
okay.
God.
So it's double that, so...
I survive.
You're fine.
What did you roll?
30.
30.
Okay. So,
I mean, Space Marine after all.
yes, but if you had a 39% chance to succeed, that means that there's a higher chance that you wouldn't succeed. So I'm very thankful for unnatural
it's
toughness.
Well, at least I think that's how it's supposed to work.
Regardless, you survive.
I'm pretty sure that's how it's
But
supposed to
Brother
work.
Manius, you're currently resting on the very nice and soft floor of the room you're in at the moment.
I thought it
I
was
can
marble.
hear the voice of the Emperor.
It was marble. Yeah, you're taking a little nap. Meanwhile, Brother Angus and Brother Manius, Brother Angus and Brother Aleberos, you're in different kinds of situations. And
Yes.
you have just saved the Lord Thorsholt, right?
Yeah.
Lord Governor. However, Brother Aleberos, you're heading into the atrium.
Yes.
Yes, and you see, actually, as soon as you enter, the situation is a little bit different from how it was when Brother Angus came in there. Most of the humans have fled or have died in between this time. However, you see shattered glass lying on the floor, and you see no signs currently of the genestealers.
I reach for my auspex.
Yes. Well, as you do, before you can even take it, another shard of glass falls down and tink on your helmet.
I instinctively look up.
Yeah, and you see one of the genestealers, the last one to leave, with actually 2 unconscious humans carried like by the scruffs of their necks. He exits through the glass in the ceiling, and they're gone.
God, they're not gene stealers, they're people stealers.
Well, people have genes.
Yeah. By the way,
and not actually nice denim pants, but
Seagulls and a Trumpet is either a really awesome indie band or the name of this episode.
Actually, all the episodes have been and so Seagulls and a Trumpet is going to have to be the name of this episode. People are going to be very confused, especially if I take out the part where you actually hear them. So, all right. So, Aleberos, the fight is over. The people have been taken. There are a lot of survivors, and there are unfortunately also a lot of dead people. However, before we continue with what you're doing, Brother Angus, how about a little conversation with Lord Governor Thorsholt?
Praise be the Emperor who saved me. I am most thankful. You will receive the highest order, the Order of the Pointed Tree. It is Avalor's highest order. I will surely bestow it upon you. Oh, yes, now bring me refreshments, stupid serf.
At once, sire. Shall we do anything about the dead lords, my lord?
Oh, of course, they shall. We will have to focus all of our efforts on bringing them the most grandest of funerals. Nothing can be more important right now.
Lord Governor, I'm not here for any medals or honor. Wait, that came out wrong.
That's true, though.
Specifically charged him for honor.
Exactly. Okay, continuing on. I do not care for your petty metals from this planet. I am just here to save your life for us to continue on our mission.
Yeah, I'm most grateful anyhow. Mission? Surely it is to put down this awful rebellion. It threatens my power. I am given by the Emperor to be the Lord Governor of this planet, and they dare to have open rebellion. I'm very good that you came here to put down and show these peasants who really rules here. Me, Thorsholt, Danigat Thorsholt.
I have no idea what I'm going to say in this conversation.
Then I step in.
Yeah.
Brother Aleberos has joined the conversation. Yes.
Lord Governor, how did you allow this to happen? It's your duty to keep the planet clean of Xenos scum.
Well, I did everything that I could. I sent for the Inquisition in person.
You should have acted sooner. The Inquisition will probably relieve you of your duty if it turns out that your incompetence has threatened this planet.
Incompetence? Surely you have ruled over nothing more than perhaps a few soldiers.
Lord Governor.
You do not know what you speak of. Warrior.
It takes decades for an infestation of this level to form.
Decades? What? It has just been unruly for, a year or something less.
And this speaks for your incompetence. You should know that genestealers don't just appear.
Lord Governor, if I may.
You hear the clearly synthetic voice of a tech priest. It is a gaunt, tall man dressed in a red robe with mechadendrites, the kind of tentacle-like metal things coming out of his arms. You cannot see his face, but you see green eye lenses underneath it, and the voice is, there's nothing human about it. It's like it's generated by a machine. And the Lord Governor looks over at him and clearly shows some kind of, not reverence, but respect for this man.
Disciple of Mars, welcome.
Space Marines. I am Egan of the Adeptus Mechanicus, and also part of the retinue of Inquisitor Mancha. I was left here to supervise the Lord Governor's evacuation of the civilians. However, it burdens me to inform you that it has been neither efficient nor hasty.
I just look at him.
Well, aside from blaming me for being incompetent, what are you doing here?
Doing what you should have done 40 years ago.
I'm technically awake, I think.
Yes,
Can I make my way over there?
Yes, Brother Manius, you gather your thoughts and your limbs.
I take my limb and my sword.
And you head over to join the conversation, I would suppose, yes.
Lord Governor, your next duty will be to check every nobleman for psychic abnormalities and execute anyone who shows signs of any form of psychic abnormality.
Yes, I see the importance of that. Thank you, Space Marine of the black armor.
If I may, Lord Governor and Space Marines of the Deathwatch chapter. I was ordered by the Inquisitor to perform the necessary procedures to analyze the risk of genestealer infection. I conducted these tests during the Lord Governor's celebrations with utmost discretion, and found no signs of genetic compromisation. I was, however, given the directive to aid any and all operatives of Ordozinos should they arrive on Evelos. You will find that my skills in the School of Medic A are quite sufficient.
I fittingly drop my arm on the floor in front of him.
Drop the mic.
Tech Marine and Lord Governor, how were the genestealers able to get in to the palace if there's no one here corrupted?
Of course, I will bring my chief of security and have him executed. He must have been most lax in doing his duties. Oh, the chief of security! I can't remember your name, but get here immediately. Where is he?
So the conversation continues, and the chief of security, of course, informs the Lord Governor and the present Space Marines that while the mansion is heavily guarded, it does have quite a few windows and other points of entry where the genestealers may have arrived. But the tech magos, or the tech priest, presents you with the data of the gathered nobility. But he points out that currently the situation is a little bit severe, so he will have to do further tests after the civil war has resolved.
Well, are you here to aid me then? Just give... I do have considerable powers of the Planetary Defense Force, which I am very proud of thereof, which I have very competently built up into a powerful force.
Yes, we've seen that the most well-equipped soldiers are lounging about the palace. We have noticed that on our way in. And you have a small force fighting superior numbers outside.
Yes, outside is mostly rebels. Nothing really worthwhile.
Lord Commander, or Governor, sorry, you are not Commander after all. We are assuming command of the Planetary Defense Forces from here on.
What? You can't assume that command?
It
is not within your responsibility or within your powers. That is usurping.
Lord Governor, I have lost an arm in this endeavor so far. If you interrupt me again, I'll rip you to pieces.
This is clearly Chaos Marines! Attack them! They're trying to usurp my power!
I pick up the Lord Governor and push him up against the wall very hard. If you ever imply the taint of chaos again, that will be the last thing you say, Governor. We have the authority of the Inquisition with us. We are assuming command. Be gracious that you are not excommunicated or executed for this so far.
I might have overstepped my
You
bounds
might
of
have, Lord
graciousness. I'm most sorry. I will do what you say is most important, and I will use my considerable resources and contacts to aid everything you say. You might just mention this to...
that is all
lords.
we wanted, Lord Governor.
Yes,
and
yes.
I put him down on the floor again. We will, of course, leave you with a small retinue to keep you safe, so that your highly valuable life is not lost.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm not even dignifying that for the...
No.
The Lord grovels and begs for mercy, and I'm assuming you leave him you leave him in charge of his own...
He gets a a force that can keep him safe.
Okay.
Not extensive.
So what this means, because you decided not to kill him or completely dispose of him, you will actually get 5 PDF forces. This is a resource that I will explain to you in a little bit how you can use. But the tech priest...
Would we have gotten more if we killed him?
No.
No.
We've gotten less, actually.
Perfect.
So good work on that. Diplomacy is the mother of PDF resources.
I think that what you're trying to say is intimidate.
Oh yeah, you intimidated him into aiding you. The result is that you actually get access to a fairly detailed map of the city, and you are also checked over by the tech priest, Idrun. And he is indeed a specialist in Medicae.
Last on this
He does aid in patching you up enough to make a Medicae roll.
I let him take a look at my wounds as well.
Now, I'm just gonna outright say that he heals you for all your wounds at the moment. He cannot give you a prosthetic, unfortunately, Brother Manius, because that would require extensive surgery and neurosurgery especially, and he does not have the tools for that. So you will unfortunately...
I think lore-wise it would take weeks also to make my body able to accept
it. And use it. That would take a long time. So unfortunately you will not have a right arm for this.
It's fine. My right arm has gone to the Emperor with the Valiant Agony and Captain Panaco.
The continuously growing list of sacrifices for this campaign.
So we're saving the armor from the arm, right?
Yes.
Yes, of course.
The arm is just a
we don't
limb.
really carry bags though, so I'm gonna actually give it to the tech priest because he's the most likely one to give his life in defense of it.
Yeah. And the tech priest accepts, of course, this with reverence, and he treats the arm very well. He has some servitors, some minor servitors that help him to wrap it up and contain it, and he prays over it, of course. And he does some minor maintenance help. You have some you have some sealant, of course, for your armor, but he does help you close up any damages to the armor. Essentially, you're back in not top notch, but as good as you can be condition. And with that out of the way, what do you want to do now? You're currently standing in the Thorsholt Manor. Here's a map. What was your next point of objective?
We need to get a message of planets.
Yes, we need to reach the Tower of Echoes and get in contact with the Astropath. Astropath Bailey.
Yes, Astropath Bailey. As you can see on the map, the tower is very close to the manor, and in fact can only be accessed through the manor.
Which is probably good why we went there.
Is there any commander for the PDF forces under the governor?
Currently, the Lord Governor sort of offers to help guide you to the tower because the Astropath has her own personal guard, and they are a little bit iffy about who they let into the tower because this is the most powerful psyker on the planet, the Astropath, because this kind of astropathy communication, considering the distance the planet is from any other outposts, they really need to take care of their communication software, as it were. So he will, however, have access to the tower right away. So he offers to escort you and to bring some of his men with you while doing it.
I think that is.
How do you use the PDF forces?
What?
You were going to explain how we use the resources.
Oh, yes, of course, I'll explain it right now. So you have currently 6 points of resources, as you can see here. I'm going to give this to you now. And I'm also, thank you. I'm also going to write down 5 killed genestealers, by the way. And this is important.
Death count.
2, 3, 4, 5. And how this works is that you can see a bunch of little green dots on the map, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have to run through all of these because that will take a long time and there's a lot of kind of pointless combat going on. I'm commenting on the way this campaign was made. So how it works is that for every green circle that you send one PDF force to, that threat will be sort of neutralized, meaning that you will bind up the guardsmen there, but that also means that you will save that area, so to speak. And if you remember from the beginning of the campaign, that there are 4 major sectors of the city, and it's the Magistra district, which is where you are right now, the red one. There is the Portia district, the blue one, which is where you landed, that has the PDF base and the Imperial stores and the spaceport. The stores is where ammunition and weapons are stored, for example. Then you have the yellow district, which I don't remember the name of, where you have most of the people live here. You have the rag marketplaces, which is where you will find a lot of entrenched rebel forces there. You have the Blind Saint, which is an outpost for the PDF, an inn called the Blind Saint. And you have the Pit of Filth, which is actually sort of the headquarters for the traders, the rebels. Finally, in the Fabrica district, you have the Prometheum Bridge, which is the only access to this district. And then the Lord Thorsholt actually shows you the seawater runoff, which is the only way to gain access to the most heavily guarded area of the city, which is the Fabrica district. And the seawater runoff...
Guarded by the enemy?
Guarded by the enemy, yes. The bridge, the Prometheum Bridge, which is the only entry point through the city, is very heavily guarded by the rebels. However, if you go to the seawater runoff by the coast, the Lord says that very few know of this way of gaining access into the part of the city. So again, some of these places might actually give you resources if you save them. But if you send PDF forces there, you will save them.
Yeah, we should...
So Martin is helping pointing out the currently saved parts of the city. The PDF base, the Thorsholt Manor, and the tower, which is considered part of the manor.
This was the weapon storage, right?
No,
that's the spaceport at the weapon storage.
Yeah. And the spaceport is the only way to leave the city.
Yeah,
I
think we should try to push PDF forces in to take the storages so they can resupply and the spaceport.
And
so they build a wall against the rest of the city.
Keep them busy here in case.
I was thinking maybe it's valuable to take the Prometheus Bridge so they can choke the amount of rebels getting into the rest of the city.
Of course, we will not act upon this right away because you are going to visit Bailey to send out a message by the Astropath. But now you have a kind of an overview of how the city looks and how it's going. And remember your main mission. Do you remember what your main mission for this is?
Kill the Broodlord.
Yeah, and also...
Get a message.
Yeah, and find the Inquisitor was the original mission, correct?
Yes.
And eventually and get rid of any Xenos infestation. But considering you also encountered Tyranid Hive Fleet forces outside of the planet, you want to get out the message.
Yeah.
But trying to save the city might buy you time, but it is almost inevitable that if the Hive Fleet is coming, things are going to go bad.
It's doomed.
It's doomed.
Yeah, that's like, isn't the securing parts of the city is more like buying time for
Absolutely.
Reinforcements.
Yeah, and for the evacuation of civilians, things like that. It once you actually get that going.
I think Angus wants to send them to the Emperor.
What? No, I'm not considering just buying time for us to shell this planet even more.
Execute exterminate.
But let's continue on to the Tower of the Astropath then.
Yes.
And are we going to deploy any forces before we go?
It's not. You're not super in a hurry to do that. Don't worry.
Also, checked with the tech priest if he or she knows anything more about Mancho. Like
I had not heard from the Inquisitor for quite some time, but as my orders were to remain with the Lord Governor until reinforcements from the Inquisition were to arrive, I have been unable to investigate on my own volition.
Do you know the last known location or where the Inquisitor was going?
That information is unfortunately not available to me, Lord Space Marine.
So for the sake of ease, Lord Thorsholt will not be played anymore because that will be too much bouncing between me and Martin. So he will just comply with whatever you wish.
Excellent.
For some reason.
He's scared enough.
Yeah, he's compliant.
Yes.
So you proceed towards the tower. And the tower is located in the vast gardens of the Thorsholt Manor. And the more you travel through this building, the more you understand that trying to make this manor into a staging point for the guards would be madness because it's just so huge that it's impossible to cover every entrance for it.
Yes.
Especially if you have wall climbing genestealers going around. All the conventional methods.
Basically a supermarket.
Yeah.
A lot of entrances.
Oh yeah, exactly. So it's the PDF base is a much better staging point than this is. So the Lord Governor was clearly foolish to try to save his own hide here. But the tower, as I mentioned before, is almost 200 meters tall. This tower. It's a very old building, probably even older than the manor itself. And the construction technique is robust. It's very well decorated. It has many gargoyles weeping water out of their faces because, of course, it's still raining. And you see the large pale moon, one of the moons of the planet, kind of silhouetted behind the tower, and it's actually much larger than the Terra's moon, which I don't even think you've seen, but for sense of scale. And at the top of the manor, top of the tower, is pretty much the only place there's any kind of light. There's not even any windows through the whole kind of tower.
Well, actually, we forgot to have a conversation
What?
about
but
the incident.
we can have that while you guys are walking there, because it is a considerable distance still.
Oh crap! I didn't.
So
I didn't want to have this confrontation.
It's a little bit tense between you three, I can imagine.
Brother Angus,
Awkward silence.
I do not think our engagement in the palace was the correct approach according to the Codex Astartes.
And what does the Codex Astartes exactly say about this confrontation?
I do believe it says something about not leaving fellow Astartes behind and not finishing the enemy before surging on. But then again, it was some time ago I thumbed it through the Codex Astartes.
Yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, I have a short-term memory. No, but as it was, I didn't want to interrupt you in your duel with the genestealer.
A genestealer is a hive mind xeno. It has no duel. It's an extension of a creature. Ironically, I was fighting an arm, and there's no honor in that.
Brother Aleberos, how do you feel about this
But
situation?
you did succeed in securing the Lord Governor, so not all is lost.
How gracious of you.
I was considering the objective at hand was more important. Because I know that you, brother Space Marines, can control the situation and take care of yourselves. I just didn't think that it would get such a gracious hit on you.
Yeah, I was distracted by Brother Aleberos
I grunt in
chainsawing
response.
my backside.
Oh, I love that. You don't even talk about this.
Oh no, we're talking about the situation that I left them, not the situation where Aleberos fucking cut his friend.
Cauterize your wound at least. Fact, no.
So it was my fault, not the other one who
So,
hit him.
Aleberos, you don't actually join this conversation
No.
at all. No. It's
That was,
beneath you,
that's
I just
embarrassing.
think the swiftness of the disposing of the first two maybe made us a little bit hubris.
Yeah, hubris could. All things considered, the genestealer rolled really well.
As it stands,
All things considered, it was a bad fight, sure. You know. In character, I'm seeing just Angus back down a corridor, and yeah, you'll take care of this.
as it now stands, Brother Manius, I have never fought a genestealer before.
No.
As it is, after the first two were killed in mere moments, I thought that you two would be able to take care of the rest.
Yes, my sword arm seemed to have failed me, so I at least solved that issue.
But in Angus's defense,
I'm not saying what he did was all bad. I'm saying the approach might not be good. We should not split like that again.
I shall consider it for our next confrontation.
That's all I wanted, brother.
Next confrontation.
That
now
is
you'll
my
take care of
fucking
it.
arm,
I think Angus should have pointed out that he did actually secure the Lord Governor, who was about to be killed by a genestealer.
I pointed that out.
Oh, okay.
For him.
Oh, okay. Okay, so the awkward conversations aside,
I'm a Bible thumper. I'm just saying he didn't exactly follow Leviticus.
but you're so gracious that you forgive him for his transgressions, isn't that right? You sanctimonious bastard.
I don't forgive him. I never forgive.
But he always forgets.
Just saying,
But he always forgets.
when teaching a small child, you have to be patient.
You have to keep a long list of transgressions to shove in their face when they become an adult.
This is the mistake I expect from initiates, not Deathwatch members. It's fine.
It's fine.
No.
I'm cool. I'm still alive.
So cool.
I'm
gonna reach for my bolt on my right side.
Oh, right. You don't have it right now.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. This conversation, of course, only takes place across your very secure box channel. Or does it?
Yeah. I mean, we're actually being kind.
You're professional. Yeah.
Manius is not being salty about it. Although the joking out game, he's more like, that was not a good tactical situation.
Live and learn.
Of course, it could have gone better. Yeah. Obviously went a lot worse than it should have.
I mean...
But then again, the setup was wrong.
I mean, being a space marine really is about giving an arm and a leg, isn't it?
I'm not giving a fucking leg. Someone else has to give a leg for this.
All right. The conversation comes to a natural stop when you reach the gate to the Astropath Tower, which is guarded by a couple of guards, but they are not your usual PDF or even the Lord's personal guard. These look more similar to... armor-wise, they actually look almost like a custodes.
Oh.
So very ornate kind of armor. Custodes are the personal retinue of the God Emperor. So they have like golden armor, very nice looking. These are like I'd say a cheap copy. They are very nice looking, but they're clearly still human. They are completely silent, and they each have like a lance.
A glaive.
Yeah, a glaive, exactly. And they are standing guard outside the gate, and they tense up when they see you approaching, but at the sight of the Lord Governor, they sort of stand at attention.
Valiant guards of the Tower and House of Echoes. Whatever, Echoes, yes. I wish to introduce these faraway lords of Space Marine chapters, to the most esteemed Astropath. They have my complete trust, and they are here doing everything for me. Yes. Here's the key. Yes.
The Lord, having done his duty, kind of slinks back into the darkness, returns with his guards, I suppose, and the guards standing at the gate nods, and you see how lights turn on, like going all the way up to the top of the tower. So there are actually small windows, but it looks like a long line of dots sort of up to the top of the tower. And the gates kind of opens up, and the only thing inside is essentially an elevator for you to step on.
Yes.
And they point to it.
They're like, get in here.
Yeah, get in, you big lugs.
Well, Angus looks at his comrades, and he nods and walks in.
Yeah, we do, of course, follow in.
Yeah, and as soon as...
Manius doesn't really understand what Angus is doing right now. He's following this. Like, the look back was kind of confusing.
Okay, you started to doubt, Brother Angus.
No, not doubting. It's more like, did he notice something that I didn't? Because he's looking back. Just walking.
You become more wary, I suppose. Your childlike naivety has been killed.
It's a good thing we didn't see what he actually did.
No, I'm waiting for a Vox message, and none arrived, so I'm just assuming Angus is being Angusy.
And in Angus's mind, he just thought, yeah, let's do this.
Yeah, cool, an elevator.
Which is basically what...
I love this. The lack
what
of
Manius doesn't
communication.
really understand. Like, it's an elevator, bro.
Alright, so
bro.
you get onto the elevator, and the gate closes behind you, and you travel upwards. And around the elevator, there are actually stairs, but they are very, very narrow. And it's it's kind of unlikely that they would be able to bear your weight, these staircases. They are very old. And the inside has like these very long tapestries hanging from the top all the way down. Fastened at certain points, of course, because 200 meters of cloth would be strange. But it has these ancient tapestries of names, and it's always written in stories, and you have family trees. Clearly, the Astropaths of Avalos have served in this tower for a very long time, very distinct time. And finally, you reach the top of the building.
Just a question, lore-wise, if you know. Is it the Astropath or the navigators who have to...
Navigators are more.
No, who have to stand in front of the Emperor to be finished with the training?
Yeah. Astropaths.
So basically, she's seen the Emperor.
Oh, she has been before the Emperor.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah. And I think we have to make an interesting kind of distinction here, because Astropaths are actually way less rarer than navigators are. And can come from all walks of life. But I still think that an Astropath that can communicate between planets are extremely vital to the entire Imperium. So they should be treated more like a...
That's the part about the Emperor. The Emperor is the only one who can change their abilities to be Astropath.
Yeah, exactly.
He's the only one who can create Astropaths.
Exactly. He makes them kind of like small astronomicons, kind of like...
I think it's weird, because in the book, I can be an Astropath as a librarian, which is strange, because you really shouldn't be able to be both.
No, Astropath is just basically a telepath, except that it's...
Special psyker.
Yeah, so you can communicate over distance. But yeah, it's not that well explored in the lore. But you have this kind of reflection.
But I actually Vox in channel, brothers show the Astropath a great deal of respect. Remember, she has stood before the Emperor.
You slowly ascend this tower, and you cannot see out that well. It's more like these lights are there to show that the tower is there, more than to actually be windows. So finally, when you reach the top, you see that there's a door in front of you, but this area for the elevator is much smaller. It's just encompassing the elevator. Before, you had the whole tower, as well as the stairs. But now you're like in the middle of a building. So it seems like this entire top floor is actually used as some kind of living space.
The rest of the tower was a giant elevator space, basically.
Yeah, essentially.
With stairs.
You step out through the doors. You take off
remove my helmet.
Remove your helmet. Interesting. And you step out into what can be probably not what you expected. There's a huge contrast in this room. It's very old, very well furnished living quarters. You have old chairs and sofas and paintings hanging, but there are also toys spread out. Like there's child toys. There's puzzles. There's
tiny chain swords.
No, nothing like that. Very like kind of intellectually stimulating toys. You have building blocks with letters on them. You have
genestealer plushies.
Yes. You actually, ironically, genestealer plushies and a little.
That's suspicious,
and a little
brothers.
plushy ultramarine arm is lying there. No.
Ooh.
By the way, I gotta ask you: did you bring the tech priest with you, or did you leave him in the manor for now?
Well, actually, if the governor's with us, the tech priest should.
The governor isn't going up with you.
You thought you
it's
said
just the three of you. The governor's staying behind.
Yeah. No, he's down with the governor. That's his mission.
But it really looks like the occupant of this house is a child, as it were.
Ooh.
Yes. Very observant.
Yeah. Yes. Roll perception to see if you notice.
I mean, the occupant could also have a child.
Could also have a child. Could have been a child and just didn't clean up. The options are
for
many.
Like 40 years.
Yeah, probably.
I'll get it tomorrow.
You step out into the greeting area, which is sort of what it is, and as you do, another door slides open, and escorted by 4 of the same kind of soldiers that you saw before, a young woman, a girl perhaps in her early teens, step out.
Oh, you are here now. That is good. I fear that you would be too slow. Welcome to the Tower of Echoes. Please sit. Rest your weary bodies.
Unless Artist does not become weary. But thank you.
Honored Astropath, we will have to leave soon, but you are aware of the situation, right? Of the impending Tyranid fleet?
Yes, I am.
So you've been sensing the shadow in the warp?
I have for the longest time now used most of my powers to keep the way open and not let the shadow of the Hive fleet completely blacken everything of the warp, and also to bolster and strengthen the genestealers beyond what the planetary defense forces could withstand.
Nerd exposition. Basically, shadow in the warp. Like when a hive fleet approaches a planet, it's a hive mind, so they use the warp to communicate, and that creates what's called the shadow of the warp, which is basically a lot of voices constantly saying things that
Are
blocks
you sure
out
they're
everything.
using the warp though? Isn't it just that they're kind of like a Wi-Fi being disrupted by a microwave situation?
I think they're using like the warp, but not being affected by the warp thing. It's something. It affects the warp at least, like blocking out.
It does it, but I think it's more of like they're two different things. But
Yeah.
I think the hive mind just overpowers the warp, or kind of blocks it out like radio interference.
It can communicate
right,
over
right.
great distances.
Oh yeah. But I think because they're not warp connected, because otherwise they could be possessed. You know.
No, that well, arguably the entire
Let's
hive
just
mind.
say that the fluff isn't very consistent
Okay.
here.
I mean,
That's true. That's true.
Just to explain what the shadow in the warp is.
If you want to learn more about the warp, listen to our podcast about Warhammer 40k.
I mean, basically,
damn it.
a Astropath could be able to sense a hive fleet weeks before it arrives in system. Well, Aleberos seems to be the talker here, so I'll let the man speak.
So, have you been in contact with the Imperial fleet?
I have not. This particular hive fleet is unusually strong in projecting its shadow, and seems to consciously, I do not know if that is the right word or not, but consciously try to suppress my communication powers. But I have a tendril still open, but it is very much a static one, very low quality, and I fear that any message would be severely corrupted. But that is why I praise the Emperor for you coming here, 'cause the short and most efficient scrambling codes of the Deathwatch will surely make my message come through unaltered. If you would allow me to use your codes, I will send all the pertinent information and any requests that you yourselves deem worthy.
Of course, honored Astropath.
GM, is Ottenskjöld, is he a psyker?
What? You don't know if Ottenskjöld is a psyker. You've only recently joined the ranks of the Deathwatch, and this was actually only the second time you met Ottenskjöld, and they haven't shown any signs of it. But I don't think. Do you go around probing people to see if they are?
If we know he's a psyker, we can send a message directly to him.
But
otherwise, we have to.
But the Deathwatch Fortress Antioch has its own cadre of Astropaths.
Yeah, but this could be like more.
You don't know the frequency of sending to Ottenskjöld, no.
No, but in the rulebook, if you send a specific person, it's higher chance that not interrupted.
That's true.
So we basically have to know who we're sending it to.
I'm gonna just say that you have the frequency.
We have the Astropath on the area code.
On the quick dial.
Area
So
code.
you have the code and you have the ability to kind of zone in exactly on Watch Fortress Antioch to send this signal. That is the kind of scrambling technique that she was talking about. That you have your own kind of systematic way of sending communications that are easier to interpret and also get high priority because they're Deathwatch.
Yeah, then we should send out a message about potential full-scale Tyranid invasion and...
I mean, presence of genestealers confirmed, Broodlord confirmed.
Hive ships
Hive
confirmed.
ships in orbit. confirmed.
Basically, most things are confirmed.
Valiant
by this point.
agony is lost.
By the strength and how it grows, I can actually give quite a good estimate of when the High Fleet will arrive, and I can give that to the fleet and to the Deathwatch fortress, I assume.
The message you're sending is going to go to Watch Fortress Antioch, to Inquisitor
Ottenschild.
Specifically. We want to confirm the presence of genestealers and a broodlord on planet. There's also an ongoing rebellion, and there's presence of a High Fleet's vanguard in orbit. The Valiant Agony has been lost, going down before we landed on planet. And Inquisitor Mancho is missing in action, possibly dead. We have secured the Lord Governor and aided the PDF forces to resist the rebellion. We will try to engage the rebellious stronghold head-on next, while the PDF forces secure the spaceport for evacuation of civilians.
Is this the extent of your message?
Brothers, anything else? Did I forget?
No. Nothing that I can think
They
of
will
right
know
now.
what to do with it.
Planet might be lost when they arrive, and unless we send another message, the Inquisitor knows what to do best.
Very well. In a few moments I will focus all of my powers to send this message. Therefore, I would want to warn you, Brother Angus and Brother Aleberos, that I will be giving off some screams, because this will be hard for me. And I will also, Brother Librarian, want to warn you that I will have to use quite considerable amount of will to push through this static and shadow. So I would advise you to keep your mind as a fortress of the Emperor and ready yourself. I will count down from 5 and then I will send. Are you ready?
Can I get to use... I'm gonna check first before I...
Okay. What are you checking?
Psychoscience skill roll.
What?
It's a full action.
Okay.
Sense the current and the eddies of the warp.
Mm-hmm.
Detects the presence and absence of demons, use of psychic powers.
Mm-hmm.
Detection of psychic phenomena, disturbances, voids, other areas.
Okay.
Basically, is she still on the Emperor's side of businesses?
A roll to check, I guess.
Oh, no.
No, she's communicating with the High Fleet.
I mean,
Attack now!
honestly, that could be a thing.
That's true.
She
So,
could be...
So check.
Oh, she's in the genestealer cult.
By the way, I should describe a little bit more. She's covered in this robe, so she's very.
Oh yeah, no.
And she doesn't actually have any eyes, by the way. Or well, she might have, but they're covered in very fine silk.
Very normal.
Astropaths are blinded to.
Spoons are very dangerous.
They get to gaze upon the Emperor, and that's the last thing.
And that's why we don't run with scissors, kids. No, she's blinded because it helps them sense the ebbs and flows of the.
I mean, that's, as I said, pretty beautiful. They see the Emperor, and that's the last thing.
You
they
failed
see.
your roll.
Yes.
Did you critically?
88 out of. I should have rolled 45.
Well, okay. As far as you know,
Herder, everything's fine.
this is always really hard to answer because I might sow the seed of doubt in you. Although, like, let's be honest here. If you're sensing it and you don't sense anything wrong, it's not like you're gonna be, what if I failed? You're gonna be like, oh.
That would be paranoia.
Yeah, but no,
That's called paranoia.
you don't sense anything.
I feel
wrong.
confident in.
Yeah.
When you're talking about Brother Mangus, always sow a seed of doubt.
But the mangoes.
Mangoes.
Like I could use psychic powers to read her aura, but then she probably notices that.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's considered bad manner to lift the skirt of an astropath and just check how
Yeah,
it's going.
definitely.
Are the genitals working here? Yep.
Brother
There you go.
Librarian, you might go along as you wish. I can see the doubt in your mind, but you
Well,
might...
not one to.
She just lifted your skirt, bro.
No, she invited me to lift hers. I mean, I'm chemically sterilized, but hey, I ain't gonna say no.
I guess.
82.
God damn it! You flounder. Like, I guess you get a nosebleed again.
I do the like teenage tremoring, stumbling around.
I'd honestly say there's a very good reason for these failures, and that's because you lost your fucking arm less than an hour ago.
The funny part is, first session didn't roll above 25. Middle session didn't roll under 50, but around 50, 60. Third session only roll above 80. So
well, I mean,
God damn it, man.
You get some, you lose some. But no, you don't.
Lost the
You she's clouded in fog and mystery, I suppose. But I guess she proceeds to send your transmission then?
Yes.
5, 4, 3,
there's no place like
2,
home. There's no place like home. There's no
1.
place like home.
And even as a space marine, that was uncomfortable.
Ears, nose are bleeding.
No, the message has been sent, and she sort of collapses to the ground, and her guards sort of check her out and see if she's okay. You see blood kind of pouring out of her eye sockets. Not a lot of it, but there's blood trickling out of her nose and eye sockets and mouth. Standard fare when you're dealing with the Imperium. And she slowly gets to her feet.
Most unpleasant. But I have successfully sent the entire message and confirmed that it has been received. I also, when I opened myself, did invite other telepathic energies surging around. And as you know, the genestealers are indeed a telepathic order of Xenos. And the Broodlord most specifically so. And even though I can say that there are genestealers abroad, not terribly many everywhere, but in all aspects of the city, they are heavily moving in and about the Fabrica district. And in the Fabrica district, deep, I would say deep, down somewhere, there is a focused, a shadow well of some kind that I could only be led to suspect is the presence of the Broodlord. So search deep in the Fabrica district and you will find. But do not underestimate. There is a cunning darkness. And before you leave, I would like to address you all and say that your powers, as blessed with the gene seed of your Primarchs, are indeed great. But there is failings in every heart of man. And be aware that however honor, pride, and scorn of the weak is very good things to have, it may go too far, and that you must, as a team, learn to work together for the Emperor.
I'm fucked.
Oh, of course. Well, at least you have the insight to know that you're wrong.
No. That's out. I know in game I was right by the decision I made.
Oh yeah, of course. You're like, who's she talking about?
Yeah, like, I mean, the librarian, obviously. He lost a fucking
the weak
arm.
link of the group. And with that, you now have the rough location of the Broodlord.
Yes.
Suspicious.
No, it's not suspicious.
I mean, I suspected because of all rebel presence.
Oh yeah, it's a little bit obvious. Now that you look at the map, it's even more obvious. Yeah. But yes, you now have the option of directing the soldiers at your disposal. And I'm going to actually be a little bit mean and say that the bigger circle, i.e. the spaceport, will require 2 soldiers assigned to it to secure it. As for the rest of the ones, you can discuss now if you want where to send them, and that's going to be the end of the episode after that.
Before, You've done well, honored Astropath. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, honorable Brother Aleberos. May everything from the Emperor's will to his blessing be with you.
And with that, I suppose you head downstairs once more
Yeah.
and rejoin the Lord and the tech priest. I was going to say the tech marine, but he's already with you.
Hey, that's me.
The tech priest Idrin. Would you like to have a non-combatant going with you? That's another thing you need to discuss.
We are going into the forge worldy part of the city.
Forge world is a gross exaggeration of what's being
we're going into the industrious district, but we have our own tech marine. But then again, he can do medical stuff.
Hey.
His abilities are a bit limited if you're on the move, however.
His orders is to stay with the governor, right?
Yes.
So
but of course, he would confer to you if you were to order him differently, considering he doesn't know the state of his Inquisitor, and he's also not as loyal, probably, as the Achilles assassin was to her assignment.
Oh, yes. God. If we only could have Lady Sherry.
Oh, she's busy.
Could just send her to the Broodlordy place and mission complete.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, she would fare well against that. Like you guys did. I just like to say the Callous Assassin is not as good a fighter as you guys are. She has her skills, but she's squishy.
Yeah, but...
Glass cannon, it's also called.
Yeah, that's
don't
true.
they get access to like a gun that just insta-kills most things? Like... destroys the soul.
Let's not talk about
she
that.
overslept that day.
Oh God, she missed the training.
So what we're gonna try to do now that I
Five,
think
right?
yes,
Yeah,
we
no,
have
6. You have 6.
Ooh. So one of the points is very important for us probably to get a hold of the spaceport.
We could do a maneuver.
A maneuver.
Yes, secure the spaceport and the storages,
Yes.
and then resupply, and send 3 units to the bridge to frontal assault, drawing the rebels and the genestealers, probably, while we make our way through the water
That is
to
probably a
go and
good
strike
idea.
at the heart, like Astartes.
That would be the tactically best decision to make if I can be the Codex Astartes at the moment. However, that would also mean that the civilians would take heavier casualties. Just saying, that doesn't necessarily mean that you should go with what I'm saying, but because the other points that you haven't put markers are where most of the civilians are.
If we don't do this, though, the genestealers will kill even more people.
Point of order, the Valiant Agony went down instantaneously. How long will a ship fare in orbit?
The problem the Valiant Agony had is that it was larger, so it was a bigger target for boarding.
Okay.
And it was also predicted because there was an ambush going on. Chances are you could probably escape faster. Well, I mean, you have sent out a message right now, so hopefully you will be getting some reinforcements fairly soon. But these, I just like to point out, the ships you encountered in orbit are not the Hive fleet.
No.
And the Hive fleet are probably pretty far away. We're talking maybe weeks. So... maybe.
Scouting force.
Yeah, exactly. So it's not like you're going to be doomed like that. However, a city this size isn't just secured because you killed the Broodlord. There's a lot of fighting going on still. I'd like to point out that before you knew about the water, what does it say? The sea...
Water runoff.
Seawater runoff. Before you knew about that, the only point of entry would have been the bridge.
Yeah.
So you will be dodging most of the rebel forces by going through the seawater runoff.
Yeah, but if we can draw even more of them towards...
We could also just do that by assaulting the rest of the city in a less obvious fashion of drawing away forces.
Just saying that just one PDF unit on the bridge would be enough to keep the bridge occupied. You don't have to put more, because it's a small circle.
So
Securing the north part here so they can safely move to the bridge.
So you're moving troops to the markets?
Yes.
To the northern parts of the market.
Okay, so you're working to try to give a way of exit for the civilians in that area as well. Okay, well that seems like a reasonable
Safe supply line to the bridge as well.
Yeah, well that's true. That's true. Okay, so that's the battle plan at the moment. The Lord has offered you up his personal yacht for getting subtly to the seawater, Ronaf. Presumably, you will be getting on a smaller boat off the coast and approaching in a less splendid manner. Hey, what's up, everyone? Just Chris here for another brief intermission. Not like the last one, which was, 5 minutes long. So, first of all, again, thank you very much for listening to our podcast. This channel has been around for a while, and we have not seen this kind of growth before. It's honestly stunning, and every day I log in and just I love numbers. I check statistics, and I'm super excited about this. So, thank you very much. Please share with your friends if you think they'd enjoy listening to this podcast. Also, I'd like to thank again everyone who submitted their names for this game. You have Captain Panaco, you have Watch Commander Snow, you have Inquisitor Ottensheld, you have Lord Danigat Thorsholt, you have Cherry the Assassin, you have Lanius the Driver, you have Idrin the Tech Priest, and you have Bailey the Astropath. I think that's all so far. And if you want to be part of this show, if you want to have an NPC forever remembered in your name, then just submit to us on Twitter as Swede Rolling. And if you can't get on Twitter for some reason, you can always join our Discord chat. There's a link in the description below. I forgot to mention last time, but the music in the beginning and the end of this episode is We Rise by cybridmusic.com. Check out his stuff, it's super good. And thank you for letting us use your music in our channel. We are going to be playing another game soon. It will be Dungeons and Dragons. I know, it's already very saturated out there, but I'm going to be doing my own setting. I think I've mentioned it briefly in some of our podcasts, and there will be a proper Session 0 this time, so don't worry, it's on its way. We also have our normal podcast called Swede Rolls, which is just talking about role-playing games, like not actually playing, but we have some really interesting discussions going on. We're talking a lot of meta. We're talking about world building, we're talking about character creation, we're talking about handling mature topics, we're talking about handling death in your game, we're talking about Session 0, all that stuff. If you're interested in the discourse of role-playing games as a medium of expression, then I really recommend listening to some of our podcasts, and they're way shorter than these are. They're half an hour, roughly. If you have any suggestions for our channel, then just please let us know. We'd love to hear from you. And again, let us know if there's something we're doing wrong. We do get the rules wrong a lot of times, and sometimes we even get the fluff wrong, because we're only humans, and unfortunately, we're not all experts on 40k. We're not all Frederick, you know. Anyway, I've talked long enough. Thanks for listening to this episode, and don't forget to tune into the next one in 2 weeks. I can guarantee you that shit is in fact going down. So stay tuned. Bye-bye.